From Studio K at Foxboro Cable Access.
Saffron is essentially the stamen of a rose.
Feeling creative?
Sage has a great flavor.
Is your palate needing a new challenge? Well, let's cook with Mike Damasio.
Hi everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Let's Cook with Mike. I'm your host, Mike Damasio, and today we have another great show for you. We're going to continue our kind of a journey through Italy with some, the last few episodes we've done have been based on some traditional classic dishes from different regions of Italy. I've been traveling there a little bit, been getting introduced to a lot of great foods, and I'm here to share them with you. These are my adaptations of these Italian classics, right? Again, as we talk about here a lot at Let's Cook with Mike, a recipe is a guideline. You can make minor adjustments, and that recipe that you took from a cookbook is now your recipe because of whatever adjustment you made. Use those guidelines as a base, but you can always add your own flavors, add more, add less, switch out items, and it becomes your own personal dish. And the best part of all, you get to make up a name for it too. So today we are going to go to Rome and try a dish called pasta alla Zozzone. That means filthy pasta in that area in Rome, and basically what it is, it's a mix between a carbonara and a matriciana, right? Which is two Italian dishes. The carbonara, is a egg and pecorino romano based dish, and the matriciana is a bacon and tomato dish. So we're going to be combining them together, and that's why they call it filthy. It's basically two dishes that they have incorporated together. So if you're ready, I'm ready. Let's cook. As you can see, we have all of our great ingredients here. Again, being here in America, there's some ingredients, especially the guanciale, which you can't get around here, but I have our nice thick cut bacon, which will be a great substitute for this dish. So what we're going to start with is make sure all of our ovens are on. We're going to get our pasta water going so that we don't have to wait for pasta to boil, and I'm ready to go. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to take a half onion, and we're going to dice this into small pieces, and we're going to start. That will be the first thing in our dish. As you can see, our ingredients here, we have some delicious fresh sweet Italian sausage, the thick cut bacon, delicious San Marzano tomatoes. That's all I use these days. I used to be less picky. Now I'm definitely more picky about it. I think they just have such a great sweet flavor and a low acidity, and they make the sauce taste really great. I'm using gemelli pasta for our base today, which holds the flavor great because of the twists and turns in the pasta. You're going to get it. It's going to hold on to all that flavor and absorb right in there, so you can get it all. Obviously, some delicious fresh basil, and then for our carbonara side, right, that kind of takes care of the amatriciani side. And for the carbonara side, we have our eggs that we're just going to use the yolks, and our Parmesan cheese. So let's cut this onion into small dice. Little cross section cut here, hold it together, and I'm just going to cut. I don't think we're going to use all of this onion, but that should be good. And what we're going to go for here is we're going to take a nice glug of olive oil here. Brand new bottle of olive oil. All right, so you can be generous with the olive oil. You want to get that pan nice and coated. Olive oil is not just to coat the pan, it is also adds flavor to the dish, any dish you put it in with. So we're going to start here with the onions, and we're going to get that going. All right, so what we're looking for here is to get these onions nice and brown, and while they are getting ready to brown, I'm going to strip the skin off of these sausages. And what we're going to do here is we're just going to flatten out these pieces of sausage, throw them right in here with these onions once those onions are ready. As you can see, they're turning a beautiful golden. That's what we're looking for. All right, we got these. Just give these a little mix, get these onions on top to get them cooking. But yeah, we're looking for this beautiful color. You can see on the edges here, this is what we're going for throughout the dish, right? We're gonna bring out all that natural sugar and onion flavor out of these, the sweet onion that I have here, right? I love using the sweet Vidalias over just a regular Spanish onion, just a little more sweetness there. So we're just gonna flatten out this meat here, and we're gonna add it right to our pan in just a moment once these onions get just a little more brown. All right. The next step will be our thick cut bacon. We're just going to cut this into strips. I have about 4 ounces of bacon here. What we're going to be doing here is we're going to be starting a lot of the different parts of this dish, because there's a lot of little parts here, and then we're going to put it all together piece by piece to make a delicious meal that I think the staff is really going to enjoy. All right, so these onions are looking great, right? They're getting nice and brown, becoming a little translucent, and you can smell how delicious they are. I think I've talked about it before. Whoever invents smell-o-vision will be a bajillionaire. All right, we're going to add these sausages in here. And as it cooks, it'll be much easier to break up. So we're just going to let this cook. And what we're looking to get here is that gray pork color, right? It's going to gray. And then we're going to go to our bacon after that. All right, so I'm going to take a second here and just clear my board for our next step in the process. Now this dish, the carbonara aspect of it, is going to take a lot of this pecorino romano that I have here, which is a great high quality cheese. Always get your cheese from Italy if you can when you're cooking Italian dishes. I'm going to open up this package here. Should have done this before the show. All right. But the sausages is nice simmering. My pasta water is ready to go, so that's always a good thing. All right, we're going to take our grater here, and I'm just gonna do a majority of this cheese block here, because you'll see when we get the egg yolks incorporated in here, we're going to put these into a bowl, and we're going to make a nice thick paste for carbonara. One mistake that we make here in America, you go to a restaurant and you get a carbonara dish, and it is a heavy cream based dish. Don't go to Italy expecting heavy cream. When you get a carbonara or any cream dish, heavy cream is rarely used. You're talking, it's always a cheese and pasta water that makes the creaminess with the egg yolks or whole egg. Majority of the time it's just an egg yolk. But the amount of pecorino, you could stop here. You could grate this whole thing and incorporate it with the same amount of eggs. Basically, you want to use about 1 egg per, they say 100 grams of pasta, right? So I have about 300 grams of pasta, and that's why I have my three eggs here ready to go. But we're going to continue to grate this as our sausage cooks over there. I'm going to break from this and go break up our sausage in the pan. And we're going to come back and we're going to continue grating that cheese, because we want a lot of that cheese for our carbonara. This dish is going to be fantastic. It's going to be like we're all sitting on the side of a cafe on the main streets of Rome, until we realize we're here in Foxborough with 5 feet of snow and 30-degree weather. Actually, today's going to be a pretty nice day from what they say. To timestamp this day, we are in the end of February, and it's a Saturday, and I think the number is 27. Is today 27, Neil? What's today? Is that it? 27? 27 of February, and we got a 50-degree day coming today, so there's hope until Sunday, and then the hope runs out because we're supposed to get more bad weather. All right, so this is we're breaking up that sausage nice. Look at this. All right, and again, we're going for gray. We want to make this, the sausage just about fully cooked, and then we're going to add our bacon, which is going to add even more flavor. Look at that, I got a little skin of the onion in there. We don't want that, that's tough to chew. All right, I'm going to go back to grating some of our pecorino, We just got a few more minutes here with the pork. It's in great shape. Obviously, it's going to continue to cook. We're going to add the bacon in there. And we're not going for crispy bacon, but we do want that bacon to cook. And I think I'm going to add that right now before I go back to the pecorino. So we're going to add this bacon in here. We're going to let this cook. We're going to let it cook uncovered for a little bit, and then we're going to cover it for probably about 10-15 minutes to get all these flavors in here. We haven't even come to the sauce yet, right? All right, so let's grate some more cheese here. All right. Again, the cheese is just such a big part of Italian cooking. Everywhere you go, it's in a lot of dishes, and then they have no problem coming by with a grater just like this at your table and piling it on your dish. It's it's a big part of the cuisine over there, and for good reason. It's salty, it's delicious, adds such great flavor to every pasta dish, and I am a fan. So here we got this delicious pecorino romano. I think that's going to be good for our 3 yolks. Let's put that aside. All right, so we're going to cook this up here. You see the bacon's already cooperating nice, so we got this delicious sweet sausage, some diced onions, about a half of a diced onion. That onion was probably a little bigger than medium, but not as large, so it's about half of that. We got the sweet Italian sausage that we cooked up first. Got it to gray with a little crispy with it, and now we're going to get our bacon cooking. Because of all the oil and stuff in this pan, that bacon's never going to get crispy, but we want to make sure it does cook up. Bacon, honestly, from the raw state is edible. It is a cured meat, just like a prosciutto or any other kind of raw ham product that you can get over in Italy. But we want to cook it up here just a little bit, extract all that nice, delicious flavor, and on we go. Let's get to our tomato sauce. Very basic tomato sauce here. What you're going to notice if you've been watching the past few episodes, everything I've been doing is very basic. There's not a ton of ingredients, not a ton of seasonings. It's salt, pepper, and maybe an herb or two. And this dish is no different. We got our nice fresh San Marzano tomatoes. They come whole with a lot of the tomato paste with it. We're just going to hand crush these. Get my shirt out of the way. That's it. We want to keep this a nice chunky sauce. We just want to break up those big chunks. Nobody wants a whole tomato on their spoon or fork. So we're just breaking this up nice and rough. From here, I'm just going to add a little bit of salt and pepper in this dish. Not too much salt because we are going to be using some pasta water, which I already salted, and I heavily salted it. But pepper. So I always want to keep that in mind when you're making pasta dishes, right? Everybody tells you salt, salt, salt. And if you do it right, if you use the pasta water when you're finishing your dish, as you'll see what we do here, you got to take into consideration that salt. So if you have a very salty meal to start with, you're just going to be adding more salt with your pasta water. So you want to make sure you don't over salt your dish. Nothing ruins a dish more than salt. And when I used to teach a class at the Academy, Woodstock Academy, that was one of my questions on the test. What do you do to fix a salty dish? The kids will have all kinds of answers, but there's really only one, and that's throw it away and start all over again. Can't remove salt. All right. And then they'll say, well, why don't you just dilute it, add what? Now you're changing the whole recipe, you're changing the whole flavor profile, and you really got to double or triple the recipe that you're making to make up for the added water that you're using to try to dilute the salt, right? So, all right, so I'm going to get our pasta going because this is going to take about 9 minutes. I'm going to get this tomato sauce into our pan in just about a minute. Once I get this tomato sauce in this pan, we are going to start our carbonara mixture, and we're going to let this dish just stew for like 10 or 15 minutes. All right, and we got all this. I'm going to do something here. I'm going to reserve some of, actually I'm going to wait, right? I'm going to do this correctly. So I'm going to separate our eggs now. I'm going to let this keep cooking because I'm going to use some of that bacon grease when I make my carbonara, just along with a little bit of pasta water. You'll see how it all comes together. So first we're going to separate our eggs. We don't want the egg whites, unless you're a Three Stooges, because they always ate the egg whites. I just recently switched TV providers from Fubo to DirecTV, and DirecTV has a Three Stooges station. I couldn't be happier. When there's nothing on the other 3,000 stations I have, you can always count on the Three Stooges. All right, we have our egg yolks here. We're just going to whip these up. All right, very easy. And now we're going to add our Parmesan cheese. Little by little, we're going to get this nice thick consistency, like a paste. And again, you can make this paste as thick or as loose as you want. I'm going to go for a little extra thick here because we're going to use the bacon, like I mentioned, and the pasta water to thin it out just a little bit. You'll see it'll all incorporate together. This is where the richness comes. I mean, you know, you can look at the beautiful colors. We got our beautiful red tomato sauce, our bright yellow carbonara, and we're going to mix these together, and I guess it's going to be orange, if I remember my kindergarten skills. Red and yellow make orange. All right. I think this is going to be good for the cheese in here, but don't worry, that cheese will be used in our towards the end as we're putting this dish together. But we got this great paste. Oh yeah. Now I found this recipe on Instagram. I want to give Vincenzo's Plate the credit for exposing me to this dish. I'd never seen it or heard of it before, and this is my first attempt at trying it. I've made the carbonara like this before. Obviously, I've done all these procedures before, just never put them all together. So here we go. I'm going to get a little cup here. All right, I'm going to steal just a little bit of pasta water here from my pasta water. See how we're doing with that as well. Whoop. Okay, pasta's cooking just fine. All right, we're going to add just a little bit of water here. Now this water's hot. We don't want to make scrambled eggs, so we want to add a little bit at a time and just thin this sauce out. We want to make sure, again, very delicate. We don't want it to break. We want it to get it to a creamy consistency. This. Patience. This dish takes a little longer than most. We're talking, this is for this, look at how beautiful my meats are stewing here. We got all that delicious flavor. Like I mentioned, I'm going to add a little bit of the bacon grease into this. Oh yeah. And now, with my bacon starting to crisp like that, the sausage crisping, let's make sure we get this back going. There we go. Now I'm going to add our tomatoes. And we're just going to let this stew. Incorporate it all up. I'm going to bring the temperature down a little bit. We're just going to let this sit and let all these flavors incorporate together as we finish our sauce here. We're going to just put this here, give it a cover, crank the temp. Let's go. All right, let's finish this. We want to get this again to a creamy consistency. This guy Vincenzo on that, he has a great shirt. It says no cream in carbonara. Now, hey, I'm guilty of it. I used to do it. That's the American style. You make your Alfredo sauce, you make your, which isn't even really an Italian dish, you make your Alfredos, your carbonaras, anything with cream, or what appears to be a cream sauce in Italian, we make with heavy cream, but truly, they just use eggs and cheese and pasta water to make these beautiful sauces. Very simple. I'm sure a lot of you have seen when they take the big block of Parmesan or pecorino, and they cook the pasta right in it, and you get your cream sauce right from that big block of Parmesan cheese. They just keep mixing it and just drawing out all the flavor from the pasta water and the cheese, and they get a nice creamy sauce. So we're going to keep this right here. Starting to gather some dishes. Okay, we're going to put that aside. We're not going to be seeing that again till the end. I'll put that up there. That's beautiful colors. All right. We're letting this steam here. Keep this going. Our pasta has probably about 5 more minutes left, and then we can put it all together, and I'll tell you, it's looking great. All right. I also brought a zucchini here today because I like to just add extra things to kill some time here. We'll have a nice little side dish. Nice simple zucchini side dish. Very popular in Italian. You get a lot of zucchini in their dishes over there. So let's do something with this. Oh, almost forgot one thing. We're going to add a little bit of that basil right now into that stewing dish there. And again, that's the only herb we are using. Salt, pepper, and basil. Basil is our only herb. Such a simple recipe. It takes a little bit of time, but it's very simple, very delicious. I'm just going to take some of these leaves off of these, and I'm not going to chop it up. I'm not going to do any fancy cut. I want this, I'm going to hand tear it. I'm just going to tear this basil. I really want to get the flavor of the full basil leaves. And again, as much as you want, as little as you want. If you look at a recipe, it'll tell you a quantity. I love basil, so I'm going a little heavy here. And you know what? Because I want to use everything I brought. So I'm just going to take all these leaves, cast the rest aside, and I'm just going to tear this into my dish. No knife. Nice full chunks. You get this when you're eating the dish as well. It's just going to be tremendous. Doctor said more greens. There you go. Beautiful. How's that look from our sky view? Must be looking pretty tremendous. Again, we're going to stew another few minutes here. Get that covered. Pasta's coming along nicely. Got a few more minutes. All right, let's do this thing here. My dish is nice and hot here. I'm just going to keep it very simple. As they say, when you say simple, some will say elegant. And we're just going to do a nice rotating cut. Nice big chunks. Just a simple cut, just a thing. Adjust your vegetable, keep knives in the same spot, and then you're just making not consistent cuts. It's a rough chop cut, but you get a lot of cuts like this. And we're just going to saute this up. Simple salt and pepper. Nice addition to this very rich, very very flavorful dish. You don't need a side that's going to overwhelm any other flavor, so this is just going to be a nice little addition. And again, because I have this onion here, why not, right? We throw some onions in with our zucchini. We'll saute this up. I love onions. Tom Brady doesn't. Too bad. All right. Again, simple pepper. I'm not a big salt guy, but I add just a little bit of salt just to get some of the flavor out of this. Woo, there you go. All right, high-tech stuff. So this is stewing nice. I'm gonna bring that temperature down. I think our pasta is just about done, which is great because we don't want it fully cooked. We want to finish the cooking in the dish here. All right, so all right. I mean, this is looking great. I'd love to reduce this a little longer. Just to get this sauce just a little thicker than what we have it right here. While we're waiting, we're going to watch our zucchini cook over here. And okay, we're in a little bit of a holding pattern. We're going to go right from the pasta water to the dish. I used to do the strain of the pasta, but I've come to realize that pasta water is very important and very valuable to creating pasta dishes. It helps thicken sauces. It helps stretch sauces if with adding flavor, because you got that nice salty water from the pasta. The starch is a great thickener from the pasta. So the pasta water is very important. Don't throw it away. All right, we're gonna go right in with the pasta here. Right, because we'll use some of this pasta water to finish the dish once we get that cream carbonara in there. That's going to tighten up this entire dish. I typically do my pan toss flip here, but this dish is right to the top, and I don't feel like wearing a tomato soup today. All right, this is looking great. I'm going to work this just a little bit more. Let's see if just a little bit more pasta water can help this out here. Just a little bit. I'm looking for a little smoother consistency than what it is. Again, first time making this. First time making it. We're doing this together. Here in Studio K, it's like a test kitchen. Again, I have made the carbonara this way with the pasta water and the yolk and the thing, but sometimes it's kind of like a hollandaise sauce, right? It's very delicate. You have to really be careful. You don't want to add too much heat or too much cold. You don't want to make it separate the egg from the cheese, but it looks like it's starting to come together now. Just a little bit more. And again, this is going to thicken up nicely in our sauce here. All right, I think I got the consistency I'm looking for. As that boils, our zucchini cooking up nicely. Okay, here we go. This is what's going to really turn this dish around from just your basic tomato sauce dish to a rich, creamy, delicious carbonara style pasta. And what do we say? This cheese will not go to waste. Save some for our dish in the end. And we're just going to mix this all together. Let it stew for a few more minutes. Look at that beautiful color. I mean, really just went from bright red and bright yellow to this really beautiful orangey sauce. Yeah, it's thickening up nicely. I don't think I'm going to need any pasta water to take care of this. It looks like the perfect consistency. The pasta is holding on to the sauce beautifully. You're going to get flavor in every bite. You won't have to worry about that. We got the beautiful pieces of basil there for you to enjoy when you take a nice big bite. The tomato chunks are going to give you lots of sweetness and flavor. It's coming along fantastic. So here's some tips when you go to Italy, some things to do and not do, right? I think one of the first and most important things, and it's something for me that's difficult to get over, is the non-tipping, right? They don't want you to tip, and then when you do tip, if you tip too little, they're insulted. If you tip too much, it's insulting. So don't tip. Appreciate them. Let them know you appreciate what they've done for you and that the food is great, and that's all they really need over there. Some other tips: when you walk into a store, make sure you greet your shopkeeper. They're very personable. Everybody wants to say hi. And you don't say ciao to strangers. Ciao is a very informal greeting. You want to make sure you save that for your friends and family. You want to use buongiorno or buonasera if it's nighttime, or buon pomeriggio if it's the afternoon. But you never want to say ciao to a stranger. You're not familiar with them. All right, I think we're ready to plate. I mean, I made another great mess, if anything. It's one of my specialties here at Studio K. But again, just beautiful, simple vegetable here that we're just going to continue to cook until the vegetables are... I don't like my vegetables mushy. I like them still with a crunch, but I love having some color on the outside of them. Almost, you know, like soft on the outside. Soft in the middle, crunchy on the outside. It's a good way to get your vegetables. And they're just about done too. Oh, another piece of skin. All right, let's get a plate. I think it'll go good in a bowl today. This might be bowl worthy. All right, let's get this off here. Everything's off, pause. Everything's off, pause. Okay. All right, so we are going to take our ladle. And you want to know another thing in Italy? They don't give portions like they do here. You get nice, perfect size portions. You don't go home hungry. You don't go home bloated out of your brain. You go home perfect. It's all about presentation. It's a good thing we don't eat with our eyes. We'd never fill up. But we do. Ladies and gentlemen, my first attempt at pasta alla Zozzone. Make the plate pretty. Here we go, another great mess. But look at that dish. Ooh-wee. Spin that. Here you go. Pasta alla Zozzone. I mean, we got sausage and bacon, and we got egg yolk and pecorino romano. The flavors, just talking of flavors, let's get to it. Uh-oh. Here we go. My favorite part of the show. Let's see what we got here. Rich, creamy. Success. Oh, I think the staff's going to like this one today. All right. Hey, thank you very much for joining me again for another episode of Let's Cook with Mike. Give these things a try. The recipe will be online after the show. Thanks for joining, and we'll see you next time on Let's Cook with Mike. Have a great day.